This national news edition originates from VK1WIA and is rebroadcast throughout Australia and around the world under a common licence published on the WIA website. This WIA national news service is copyright to the Wireless Institute of Australia, and rebroadcast is authorised only under the provisions of that common licence. WIA Director and Company Secretary Peter Cleave, VK8ZZ.
From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
And in WIA National News this week, John Masel's VK4JPM, with flowers in his hair, floats an idea. VK7PD, VK2COD and N3ILS join with Coal VK3GTV in our special interest group news spot. Australia to build a semi-autonomous lunar rover for NASA. And WIA board comment with Giles Kirby, VK5GK. But wait, there's much, much more in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia for week commencing Sunday, October 5, 2025. I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB.
News and more of it every week. We are VK1WIA.
And ahead of Giles, VK5GK, the Philippine Amateur Radio Association has asked all hams to keep 7.095 clear for emergency traffic following the magnitude 6.9 earthquake which has hit northern Cebu this week. Again, that frequency to keep clear of, 7.095 megahertz.
Chapter 1.
This is Giles Kirby with the board comments today, talking about the ATO not-for-profit self-review. This important reminder from the ATO underscores a vital responsibility for all non-charitable, not-for-profit clubs and societies. The annual self-review confirming eligibility for income tax exemption. As the national body representing amateur radio in Australia, the WIA board emphasises the importance of compliance with this requirement. The return this year should be lodged by the 31st of October this year. Penalties can apply for late lodgement. Lodgements can be uploaded online. See our news bulletin on the website for details. Our advice to affiliated clubs, branches and associations under the WIA umbrella is immediate action, pass the information along if required, and seek assistance if needed. The board will ensure that the WIA's own internal compliance and reporting are fully aligned, and we stand by ready to assist member organisations in meeting their obligations. Let's ensure all our clubs remain in good standing with the ATO and avoid unnecessary penalties or complications. Thank you for your attention and prompt action. On behalf of the WIA board, this is VK5 Golf Kilo.
Hi, this is John, VK4JPM, wearing my hat as president of Darling Downs Radio Club, but talking to clubs and club members everywhere. People become members of a club for all kinds of reasons. Technical is one of them, access to knowledge and skills and experience of those who've trodden paths before, as was made blatantly apparent to me this week when a fellow club member and mate spotted a problem with my HF rig in a way that I would never have found in a million years. And now it's fixed. And that's the benefit of being part of a network. But just as importantly, people join clubs to be social. In fact, my observation has been that the more social a club is, the more likely it is to be strong and vibrant and attract members. And a club with members gets the attention of the non-club people whose support you probably need, like councils and other service clubs and local businesses. But how do you create a solid social environment? Well, by doing interesting things. Now, that takes a bit of work, especially to get started, but after a while, which might be a year or two, the activities become self-sustaining, and that's good for everyone. What's interesting? Well, running regular interesting meetings is one obvious opportunity, and if you don't know what's interesting, go and have a look at the websites of other clubs and steal their ideas. Maybe even reach out to the same speakers to see if they'll repeat presentations for your club. and run meetings with telepresence like Zoom or Google Meet. Regular lunches or dinners are a great way to get together. And if you're a non-metro club and your members are distributed across tens or hundreds of kilometres, you can use telepresence to have virtual social gatherings, just as we learned to do during the many lockdowns of 2020. Our club ran a fox hunt and barbecue earlier in the year, and that was massively successful. We're planning an end-of-year event based on the same process. But the biggest gains come when you think really big. The Darling Downs Radio Club recently had the opportunity to be part of the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers. We started by wondering if we could help with communications and marshalling. They're the traditional skills of a radio club. But since that was largely covered by others, we looked further and realised we could actually be in the parade with a float. A bit more of a story about what we did and the video of how we looked is on our website at ddrci.org.au. Now, if we'd just done comms, hardly anybody would have seen us. But by leaping for a higher bar, we were seen by tens of thousands of people who lined the streets. The council now knows exactly who we are. We attracted a few more members. We have the attention of several businesses and partners, and we created new merch. Everybody benefited. Oh, and those of us who were in the parade had a really good time. So, if you're a member of a club, on the committee of a club, or an outsider looking for ways to make things more interesting, go social. I'd love to know what you think. Secretary at ddrci.org.au will get to me, and look for the parade story on our website at ddrci.org.au. I'm John, VK1WIA for the Darling Downs Radio Club, but really for ham radio all over the country. Let's have fun with our hobby.
Australiana. At the International Astronautical Congress, IAC, taking place in Sydney this week, representatives from the United States and Australia gathered to sign a framework agreement that strengthens collaboration in aeronautics and space exploration between our two nations. Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy and Australian Space Agency Head Enrico Palomo signed the agreement Tuesday. Australia is an important and long-time space partner from Apollo to Artemis. And this agreement depends on that partnership, said Duffy. International agreements like this one work in leverage of our resources and increase our capacities and scientific returns for all, proving critical to NASA's plans from low Earth orbit to the Moon, Mars and beyond. Australian Minister for Industry and Innovation and Minister for Science, Tim Ayres, said the signing builds on more than half a century of collaboration between the two nations. Strengthening Australia's partnership with the US and NASA creates new opportunities for Australian ideas and technologies, improving Australia's industrial capability, boosting productivity and building economic resilience, Ayres said. Known as the Framework Agreement between the Government of the United States of America and the Government of Australia on cooperation in aeronautics and the exploration and use of airspace and outer space for peaceful purposes. It recognises cooperation that's mutually beneficial for the US and Australia and establishes the legal framework under which the countries will work together. Potential areas for cooperation include space explorations, space science, including space medicine and life sciences, aeronautics research and technology. NASA has collaborated with Australia on civil space activities since 1960, when the two countries signed their first cooperative space agreement. The Canberra Deep Space Communications Complex played a vital role in supporting NASA's Apollo program, most notably during the Apollo 13 mission. Today, the complex is one of 3 global stations in NASA's Deep Space Network, supporting both robotic and human spaceflight missions. As part of an existing partnership with the Australian Space Agency, Australia is developing a semi-autonomous lunar rover, which will carry a NASA analysis instrument intended to demonstrate technology for scientific and exploration purposes. The rover is scheduled to launch by the end of this decade through NASA's CLPS, the Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative. I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Chapter 2.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now with international news, Jason, VK2LAW.
Hello. First up, the story of Ray Pratt, 92, who's made friends with fellow radio users all over the world for more than 4 decades. But the wheelchair user says this vital link could now be severed, as Stockton Council would not let him keep the 2 poles supporting an antenna in his back garden. No neighbours put objections into the widower and great-grandfather's planning application, but the council rejected it, saying the slim metal 10-metre and 7.5-metre masts outside his bungalow were clearly visible over fences, from gardens and above rooftops. Planning officers argued the structures were lightweight and slender, but 3.7 metres taller than the bungalows. They said the poles would dominate the rear gardens, harming their enjoyment for their neighbouring residents. Ray, a former fisherman and tanker driver who served in the Merchant Navy, said, "They've told me to take it down. It's my life. I think it's disastrous. It's taken away my life. I'm 92. I probably haven't got long to go, and they're going to deny me the little bit I've got left." Ray has his radio equipment set up in a back room and logs all his contacts on the airwaves each day. He said, "I can be here for hours if the conditions are good, just talking to people." The RSGB was pleased to welcome Callum Anderson, MP for Buckingham and Bletchley, to the RSGB National Radio Centre at Bletchley Park recently. Callum enjoyed seeing the history of radio, watching live CW contacts, and listening to his voice coming back from space, having been relayed via satellite. Callum was invited to meet a small group of senior RSGB representatives who emphasised the important role of amateur radio in encouraging young people into an engineering career. Getting involved in science, technology, engineering and maths activities gives a great foundation that could lead some young people to follow in the footsteps of radio amateur pioneers who led the development of many wireless technologies we rely on today, the RSGB emphasised. Most importantly, the visit gave the RSGB an opportunity to show the problems that electromagnetic disturbance can cause to wireless reception. Examples of EMD include household appliances, broadband FTTC, and green energy from solar panels and wind farms, where the signal levels are thousands of times stronger than the expected levels given in ITU recommendations. EMC Chair John Rogers, Mike 0 Juliet Alpha Victor, and Board Chair Stuart Bryant, Golf 3 Yankee Sierra X-Ray, explained that unless the year-on-year increases in background noise are stopped, many critical services and infrastructures could be impacted soon, just as our amateur radio bands are today. The RSGB looks forward to meeting again with Callum, who's also the Parliamentary Private Secretary for Science, Innovation and Technology. Gear packed for 3Y0K de-expedition to Bouvet in February 2026. The 3 Yankee 0 Kilo de-expedition to Bouvet Island has packed its shipping container of gear. The team spent a weekend near Oslo, Norway, getting things ready, including generators, tents, tools, and, most importantly, radios, antennas and amplifiers. This checks off another large box on the to-do list before they depart in February next year. This international team of radio amateurs is aiming to activate the 10th most wanted DX entity, Bouvet Island, with 24 operators, 2 camps and a load of gear. They hope to provide a lot of QSOs to those in need of the entity for their DXCC totals. Bouvet is in the South Atlantic Ocean, 2,575 kilometres from Cape Town and 1,609 kilometres north of continental Antarctica. ARRL Education and Learning Support Specialist Max Friedman, November 4 Mike Lima, is part of the team. At 1+20 years of age, he will be the youngest person to ever set foot on the island and is the youngest operator known in a top 10 de-expedition. TuneIn is teaming up with the USA's Federal Emergency Management Agency's Integrated Public Alert and Warning System to deliver emergency alerts through its Android Auto TuneIn app. The streaming audio platform heralded the announcement as an important step forward as the industry shifts towards digital-first audio experiences. TuneIn's internet-based service delivers reliable audio quality and broader coverage than traditional radio, especially in areas where terrestrial signals may be limited, a release said. The feature offers IP AWS alerts from the local, state, tribal and federal agency level to TuneIn users in affected areas. It's available to auto manufacturers that integrate TuneIn as part of their vehicle infotainment systems through Android Auto. A TuneIn spokesperson said the company had no specifics for motorists who use Apple CarPlay for entertainment or phone projection. The spokesperson added that the company is exploring all options. A US federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to halt layoffs at Voice of America, freezing the planned elimination of 532 full-time staff positions at the US Agency for Global Media. The cuts would have represented most of the agency's remaining employees. In his written order, Lamberth said he no longer harbours any doubt that the defendants lack a plan to comply with the preliminary injunction. He accused officials of running out the clock on the fiscal year while remaining in violation of even the most meagre reading of the US AGM and Voice of America's statutory obligations. The White House criticised the decision in a statement to Reuters, calling Royce an activist judge who was attempting to subvert the will of the American people. Under the direction of Trump advisor Kari Lake, approximately 1,400 US AGM employees have been terminated or placed on indefinite leave since March. The cuts included nearly 600 contract employees and most permanent staff, bringing VOA's 49 language services down to just 4 languages, while cancelling contracts with AP, Reuters and AFP. For WIA National News, in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
Chapter 3.
We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with VK4FUQ. Felix.
Hello there. Oceania DXOC DX Contest SSB on now with the CW next weekend, 11-12 October. Yoda Contest December. The Fishers Ghost Amateur Radio Club are hosting the inaugural BK Yoda Contest the entire month of December. yoda.fgirc.org.au/. Then just 3 days from the end of what we call the BK Yoda Contest comes round 3 of the Yoda Contest organised by the IAA Region 1 Youth Working Group in cooperation with the Hungarian Amateur Radio Society. December 29. A great way to gain extra contacts for the BK contest organised by Fisher's Ghost AR Club. Now the DX window to the world. Gerben PG5M is QRV as A52G from Bhutan, now until October 8. Location is Docula, some 3,100 metres above sea levels. Operation is on 4 to 10 metres, perhaps some 6 metres, with CW and some FT8. October 5 through October 11th, a special Canadian annual event will be promoting fire safety during Fire Prevention Week, with the theme being lithium-ion battery fire safety. Stations usually participating include KF2IRE, N1F through N9F, and VA3FIRE from Ontario. And a printable certificate is available from hamfire.com, where the event information is. VA3FIRE is a wildcard station that can help with earning the certificate. The various stations spot themselves on DX Summit, and as it is not a contest station, can be found on most HF bands working SSB and some FT8. Angola. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the independence of Angola, Team D2A will be active from Ilha do Musolo, a peninsula near Luanda. Between 17 and 28 October on 166 metres, CWSSB ready of the digital modes. This team will have up to 6 stations, QSL by EA7 FTR. Special call sign OT5ID PD will be active from 4 November to December 3 for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, whose annual observance, 3 December, was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in 1992. All operators will be hams with a disability. The logs will be uploaded to LOGW Club Log and EQSL. All QSOs will be confirmed automatically via the Bureau. For WIA National News, I'm Felix VK1WIA in Ingham.
Chapter 4.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, Special Interest Group News with Cole, VK3GTV.
Hello, first up in Worldwide Special Interest Group News, it's Final Frontier. ISS SSTV event celebrates World Space Week. ARIS, amateur radio aboard the International Space Station, has announced a slow-scan television event to coincide with World Space Week, October 4 through to 10 this year. So it's happening right now. The International Space Station is transmitting 6 unique images via SSTV. The usual frequency of 145.800 MHz will be in use, transmitting SSTV images in PD120 mode. The current schedule is tentative, October 4 to 6, starting Saturday, October the 4th at 1100 UTC, ending Monday, October 6, time and ending still up in the air. For World Space Week 2025, the chosen theme is Living in Space. This theme explores humanity's journey toward making space a habitat, emphasising the innovative technologies, challenges and collaborative efforts that make this vision a reality. As the only United Nations entity dedicated to space affairs, the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs, UNOSA, is uniquely positioned to raise awareness about space exploration and use, benefits stemming from humanity's activities in space and sustainable use of this unique environment. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, IOTA NA063, Sable Island, CY0S. De-expeditioners are preparing for next year's trip to Sable Island, and they finally have a date. Travis Lisk, N3ILS from Newsline, tells us exactly when it's all happening.
The Sable Island CY0S team has announced that their de-expedition has been scheduled for March 19th through to either the 30th or 31st of next year. The operation received its approval this past spring from parks officials in Canada, but the dates in March were not set at the time. The group said that it has been fundraising to cover the higher costs of flights between Halifax, Nova Scotia, and the island, a significant increase, they said, since the 2023 de-expedition. The island is about 300 kilometers or 186 miles east of Halifax. The treeless and windy island, best known for its population of wild horses, is expected to pose a number of challenges during the expedition. The team leaders will be Murray WA4DAN and Glenn W0GJ. This is Travis Lisk and 3ILS.
Operators will be joined by a number of members of last year's CY9CD expedition to St. Paul Island, also off the coast of Nova Scotia. Thanks, Travis, for that story. Now an island closer to home, here in OC 035, Efate, Vanuatu. YJ0RS. Bob ZL1RS will be active again as YJ0RS from Efate 06035 now until October 10. His QRV primarily on 6 metres, EME included, with some activity on 10 metres. QSL via club logs OQRS or direct to home call, which again is ZL1RS. And there's more information and updates on QRZ.com. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Radio Amateur Old-Timers. This Monday is the first Monday of the month, and that means it's time for the Radio Amateurs Old-Timers Club of Australia's October Bulletin to go to air. Peter, VK7PD, joins us with the latest RAOTC news.
This month, as well as the latest club news, is an article from Ian, VK3JS. He discusses some thoughts from a past 73 magazine published by Wayne Green. This will be followed by an article read by Clive, VK6CSW, who will tell us about some of the very earliest experiments in radio in Western Australia. In addition, there will be details on the upcoming Perth RAOTC luncheon. Everyone, RAOTC members and non-members alike, is most welcome to listen to the program and to join in the callbacks afterwards. Full details of all transmission times and modes can be found on the RAOTC website at www.raotc.org.au or just Google RAOTC broadcasts. If none of the transmission times suit you, you can download the audio file at any time from today from the club's website. Once again, tune in tomorrow for the October RAOTC Bulletin. Enjoy the program and please join in the callbacks afterwards. 73 from Peter, VK7PD.
Thanks, Peter. And from the oldies to worldwide special interest groups, radio amateur young timers, YOTA, youngsters on the air, with Alan, VK2COD.
Thank you. From RSGB Front Page News, we see that the RSGB outreach team is about to launch its first DMR YouthNet. So, calling all young radio enthusiasts wherever you are in the world. The RSGB outreach team is thrilled to launch its first official DMR YouthNet. The first net got together on Tuesday 30th September at 1900 UTC. Whether you're just starting out or already love getting on the air, this bi-weekly net is your chance to build confidence speaking on the radio, connect with fellow young operators from around the world, and join in without needing to set up antennas at home. Hosted by RSGB Youth Outreach Team leaders Chris Aitken, MM0WIC, and Ben Lloyd, GW4BML. The net is designed to grow with you. As your skills and confidence develop, you can even take the mic and chair future sessions. Tune in on RSGB Youth Talk Group 23554. It's available on the DVSPH and Brandmeister networks. And remember, Joda/Jody is on later this month. For WIA National News, I'm Alan, VK2COD in Sydney.
Thanks, Alan. Next up, worldwide special interest groups, radio scouting, jamboree on the air and internet. Each year, over 1 million scouts and guides from over 170 countries around the world take part in something very special. This is called Jamboree on the Air and Jamboree on the Internet. It's a weekend of radio, internet and friendship, and it's happening from the 17th to the 19th of October, with most activity in the Southern Hemisphere on Saturday the 18th, but with the Northern Hemisphere time difference, there's opportunities for those of us down under on Sunday the 19th to make some international contacts. This is your chance to support the future of our wonderful hobby and to inspire our scouts and guides. This year for Jota, we have a group of scouts all set to bring you the news. And just to get all the ducks in a row, we ask the coordinator to contact WIA National News, again by email, nationalnews@wia.org.au. Also from VK2, Girl Guides Association of New South Wales, ACT and Northern Territory in Murwillumbah are set for a long-distance contact, a very long-distance contact, ham radio to space. A telebridge contact via VK4 ISS is set for go. The ISS downlink frequency is presently scheduled to be 145.800 MHz, with guides looking forward to ask questions of astronaut Mike Fink, KE5AIT, aboard the International Space Station, with support from ground station ARIS mentor Shane Lind, VK4KHZ. The contact is currently set for Saturday the 4th of October 2025 at 10:26 UTC. Schools may make a last-minute decision to do a live stream or run into a last-minute glitch requiring a change of the URL, but you can always check live.aris.org to see if a school is live streaming. Remember, if there is an EVA, a docking or an undocking, the ARIS radios are turned off as part of the safety protocol. We wish you all the best with your contact. And that's the latest worldwide special interest group news. I'm Cole, VK3GTV.
2025, it's at 8. VK2, West Lakes Field Day, 8 a.m. October 26 on the club grounds. VK5, AREG's Amateur Radio and Electronics Sale, Sunday the 26th of October at David Roche Park, Kilbourne. The VKFF National Get-Together happens October 24-27 in Canberra. QTech 2025, a two-day conference, Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd of November, Kedron Wavell RSL in Brisbane. Gold Coast Amateur Radio Society's 2025 Hamfest, November 9. VK7, Maina Hamfest, Saturday, November 15, 10 a.m. In VK3, Rosebud Radio Fest, Eastbourne Primary School at Rosebud, November 16. Now till next we meet, I am Graham, I am VK4BB. Walk softly.
From Australia, this has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.